Hey everybody, thank you so much for coming to my channel. Mike the Window Cleaner. I've been washing windows for 40 years, going on 41 now, and I want to share my knowledge with you so that you can be prosperous and successful. And today I want to talk about the top 5 myths of window cleaning. There's so many more, but I'll just start with that and we'll keep going from here. Please like, please subscribe. All right. So as I told you in the past, counting windows is a no-go. That's right, because if you count windows, you're stuck with the price of the windows and how many windows they have. That's it. You're leaving money on the table. Most of the time when you count windows, all you're doing is going by a formula. Formulas work in some scenarios, but the truth is what you really want to do is use my method. So let's listen to this video real quick.
And most residential window cleaners, they don't charge by the hour. They don't charge by the square foot like we do in the pressure washing world. They charge by either the pane or the window.
That is wrong. That is not true. Don't know where he learned it from. He's a young guy. Hey, looks like he's got a nice house. Looks like he's made a lot of money for himself. So counting windows is one way to do it, but not the one I recommend. That is a myth right there. Myth of counting windows, that everybody does it. All residential window cleaners count windows. Untrue. If you start counting windows in 1989, then you count windows in 2009, there's a 20-year difference there, and you don't want to count windows because inflation will get you, and you got to keep up with the times. If you've been charging your customer $250 and you've been doing our windows for 5 years, you need to increase that price. 10, 15, 20% is what you do. You keep raising it every 2 years. That's how you do it. Do not count windows, because that same house you did in 1989 and now it's 2009, they got the same amount of windows. You're losing money. You're leaving money on the table. That's why I want to help you. Here we go.
When I price a double hung window, I price the top window at $5 for each side or $4 for each side. I will price the screen usually at about $2. Now, if it is the whole entire window, so those I would price it at $4 to $5. If the customer wants a deep clean glass facility, I take glass price. There's a glass price on clean screens, and I basically times that at 40%. With French windows, let's say I have 6 prices. That means the window will have 6 little visuals on top, 6 little visuals on the top. We're going to do it.
All right. We're just having a little fun there. Don't get too bent out of shape. We're just having a good time here. But, you know, the truth is, how are you supposed to understand that? How are you supposed to understand this, then do that? To the young guy that's just starting out, or an old guy who's just starting out, how are you supposed to understand that logic? I'm not saying that it couldn't help you if you wrote it all down, but the truth is, you go to a big job, let's say a 7,000 square foot home, and you go on Zillow, you go on Zillow.com, you go on Redfin.com or Realtor.com, you can look at that house and you can actually see the true square footage. And you look at it on Google Earth and you walk through it, you spin it around, you look at the backside, and you ask yourself, 7,000 square foot home. Right from the start, you're starting at 700. 7,000 square foot equals $700. 5,000 square foot, $500. Beginning wages. So 7,000 square foot home, $700 all the way up. Okay, you have to look at it, see how long it's going to take you. Take your hourly wage plus the guy that you have. So if you're paying yourself $150 an hour, you're paying him $50 an hour. That's $200 an hour that you have to bring in so you get paid and he gets paid. Okay, and myth number 2, trad poles versus water-fed pole. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I'm going to tell you right now, water-fed poles are far more efficient than trad poles are. Some guys say they could do a whole house before I get my stuff out of my truck. That's not true. If that was an apartment, maybe, okay. But if it's a 5,000 square foot home, no, it's not true. Water-fed poles are far more safer than trad poles or even ladders. I have a truckload of ladders. I use ladders all the time, but I don't use it to wash a window way up high unless I've put all my stuff away. We're saying goodbye, and we notice that the windows need a touch up there. Then we'll pull it out real quick and get up there. But to take that ladder around, let's say you do 3 houses in a day, to take it by each window or use a trad pole, time is money. So you're losing money and you're wasting a lot of time. And some people even use those stackable ladders. I know you love them, but they're very dangerous. They go way up and they're narrow, and you put it on the edge and it could tilt left or right, and you could fall to your death. I'd rather have a ladder with 2 legs on top, 2 legs on bottom. It's much more convenient and definitely more safe. And water-fed poles are ideal. It's been around forever. They're the best pieces of equipment for you to get out there and wash windows on 2- and 3-story homes. It's the best way. You don't want to get up on a ladder or try to use a trad pole on a 3-story window. Remember, don't believe everything you hear on YouTube or the internet. I've been doing this for 40 years. My goal is to help you succeed and be profitable. And also, I'm going to do a video on how to set up your truck with the water-fed pole system, deionized water system with filtration. You don't need to spend $5,000 on a window cleaning kit. I'm not kidding you. So you can set it up in your truck for under $1,000 or right at $1,000, okay? And it's a great way to do it, and we're going to do that later. Let's go to myth number 3. Myth number 3, squeegeeing a window side to side, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth is better than straight pulls. That is absolutely false. Straight pull downs are the best way to clean a window. Big window, 1, 2, 3, done. Not this bullcrap, back and forth, back and forth. You don't do that. You're wasting time. Time is money. You got to remember that. When you want to go to a strip mall, and let's say you do a job, you want to do 10 of those jobs. And going back and forth like this, side to side, is not the way to do it. And one of the best ways to do it is to have one guy butter the glass, get it all wet and keep moving down, and one guy squeegeeing. I'm always a squeegee guy because I've been doing it for so long, and that's the fastest way to do it. You got 2 guys going, and one's buttering, one's squeegeeing. It's so quick. It's so fast instead of going back and forth. Now, if you're trying to show off and there's customers in the room, yeah, you can go ahead and do it back and forth on windows because it looks cool and people watch. It's really cool that way. It's not the best way to make a lot of money fast. It's not the best way to be efficient and get the job done. You do not use water-fed poles on commercial work either, unless it's really high. You don't use a water-fed pole for that because the water gets stuck up in the rubber and it bleeds all day long for hours, and they call you back because there's drips all over the window. You do 2 men, one's wetting it, the other one's squeegeeing it. You knock out a whole dealership like we had in Orange County, California. It was a Buick, Cadillac, GM dealership. There was 2 structures connected together. And we knocked that out in 2 hours. And that is the best way to do it. If you want to save time and make money, if that job takes you 2 hours and it's a $400 job, well, now you're making $200 an hour. Still not bad. So remember, myth number 3 is going side to side with your squeegee back and forth is the wrong way. Straight pull downs rock and save you time. Here we go. All right, myth number 4, catching water and doing 2-hand squeegee. It's silly. Catching water or doing 2-hand so unnecessary. You squeeze, you applicate, you mop the windows and then you squeegee it down. You don't need to catch the water. Put a towel down. That's what that's for. You're wasting your time doing it that way. And you want to clean that applicator after a while because it gets dirty. You get flies in there and it gets dirty and it gets filthy. You want to clean it. You want to clean the window. You don't want to put dirty water back on the window, right? Yes, you can use the applicator for a couple of windows, but do not use the 2-handed method. But do not do it that way when you're at McDonald's or Wendy's or any of these other places. It's smarter to use that extension pole. Pull straight down and you'll be out of there in no time, all right? Here we go. Okay. And myth number 5, the final one, wanting a big crew of like 12 trucks or something like that versus 2 guys going out and making money. Do you know that 2 guys can go out and make $150,000 to $200,000 or more a year, working hard and planning right and not counting windows and using water-fed poles? You can make a lot of money that way. There's nothing wrong with having a company, but a lot of young guys out there just starting out feel like they want to have a bigger company, like 4 trucks, 7 trucks. Do you know what it entails to run a company? It's a lot. Guys don't come in. They lose equipment. People steal equipment. Customers cancel out. It's a major headache. You'll lose sleep at night trying to pay your payroll. I met a guy that had a $20 million payroll every month. Huge company. And he said he lost sleep. He said, I never should have done that. That's true. Nothing wrong with having a big company, a bunch of trucks and stuff. If you're doing it and it's working out, great. But you have to admit, it is a lot of headache. 2 guys out there hopping in the truck, working together, you can make a lot of money today. Thousands of dollars a day, okay? So don't try to just be like the big boys. Focus on you and another guy. That's the best way to make money. You start adding a 3rd guy and a 4th guy. Well, now you got to have workers' comp. You got to have all these insurances. If you're subcontracting, then you got to make sure they have insurance. It's a huge headache, okay? Subcontract is okay, but you got to make sure they have insurance. Sometimes you have to help them get insurance just so they can work for you. All right. So remember, don't try to go too big too soon. That'll come down the road if you want to, if you work hard at it. I've had crews, I've had guys work for me. I've had a lot of this stuff going on. And I found after 40 years that just a couple guys, just a driver and a passenger going doing jobs is one of the best ways to make a lot of money. Okay. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you got any, because I'm sure you will after this video. All right. Thank you so much. God bless, and wash on, brothers and sisters.